News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by the Duck Hunter. A 20-year-old Hiram man has been arrested and charged with allegedly abusing a 2-month-old baby girl. Nathan Lefevre was booked into the Cache County Jail Monday. Cache County Sheriff's deputies were called to Logan Regional Hospital on a complaint of a baby covered in bruises and not acting normally, according to an arrest report. The girl allegedly had numerous large bruises over her chest, lower abdomen, and jaw. She also had bruising on her bottom, consistent with being struck. Doctors informed deputies that the child had contusions on her head and was suffering from a brain bleed. She was later flown by helicopter to Primary Children's Hospital. Deputies questioned Lefevre. He allegedly disclosed that he had lost his temper with the child and had shaken her, according to the report. He also stated that he had thrown the girl down after getting angry about her soiling her diaper. The abuse reportedly occurred at a Mendon residence and was consistent with shaken baby syndrome. Lefevre was arraigned during a virtual hearing in First District Court this afternoon. He was charged with 3 counts of child abuse, a second-degree felony. Cache County Deputy Attorney Barbara Lackmar explained that the baby had multiple rib fractures and 3 brain bleeds. She remains in the hospital in critical condition. Judge Brian Cannell set bail at $10,000 and assigned Lefevre a public defender. He also ordered the suspect to have no contact with anyone under the age of 18 and be placed on pretrial supervision. KVNU News Time is 4:07. KVNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low in the lower 50s. South wind still with us, 10 to 20 miles per hour this evening. And then breezy tomorrow, sunny in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon. Slight chance of rain showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperature around 70. Southwest winds increasing to 15 to 25 miles an hour in the afternoon tomorrow. And then back to mostly clear Thursday night, much colder, low in the mid-30s for Thursday night and Friday morning. And then on Friday, sunny upper 70s for the high. It's been to 85. It's 82 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Polylift. And homeowners, you may have noticed the ground shift after your foundation was poured, causing your house to sink or settle. Protect your investment from issues before they happen. Polylift concrete raising and piering will stabilize, lift, and eliminate further settling by using Magnum piering products to save you big money down the road. Polylift concrete raising and piering are the foundation lifting experts. Visit poly-lift.com to schedule your free assessment or call or text 435-999-9309. Polylift is locally owned and operated.
Did you just build a home or remodel your current home? Well, if so, John at the Duct Hunter says you should have your heating ducts cleaned as soon as possible and change out to a high-quality furnace filter. The dust from construction, sawdust, drywall, and more is sitting in your ductwork. Your furnace filter's probably clogged. You'd be surprised what John has found in air ducts, toys, construction debris, and rodents. Let the Duct Hunter clean the ducts today. Call for a free consultation. The Duct Hunter, 770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
KVNU News Time is 4:09. The second installment of Direct Link with Utah Governor Spencer Cox was held last evening. The bi-monthly broadcasts are facilitated through the Utah Broadcasters Association, and this month's broadcast was moderated by KVNU's Jason Williams. With Utah going through the worst drought in over 60 years, the governor said many may not realize just how bad the drought is. With over 90% of the state in extreme drought, 70 to 80% a notch above that in exceptional drought.
We need everyone to conserve regardless of where you live. Today, we were asking people to water their lawns less. The good news with grass is that it's very resilient. If it turns yellow or brown, that's okay. It will come back green. And next year, we're encouraging people to do 1 less watering. So just 2 waterings a week in northern Utah, 3 waterings a week in southern Utah. and then to pay attention to local water districts and the restrictions that are in place there.
Cox said the situation is really dire, and the last thing the state needs is another disaster after a pandemic and a moderate earthquake like occurred last year near Salt Lake City.
We just really encourage people to be smart, and along with that comes the fire danger. And we've had 2 fire starts today, one in Summit County, one in Carbon County. And our fire, so again, two different parts of the state, but our fire crews reported back that they are seeing August-like conditions, and we're still in the first part of June. That's a problem. That does not bode well for us.
And fire crews are concerned that they're seeing fire conditions that they normally, like the governor mentioned, wouldn't see until August. A quick-spreading East Canyon fire in Morgan County forced evacuations and road closures on Tuesday. Last night, it had burned an estimated 500 acres. The blaze sparked when a piece of heavy equipment struck a rock. Morgan County spokeswoman Honor Hunt told KUTV it was a red flag day, so the fire picked up pretty quickly. Lots of oak, sage, and grass are all prime fuel on a windy, low-humidity day, which is why crews say they're seeing late summer conditions this time of year. KBNU News Time is 4:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Get your news from KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
I'm Dr. Red in Cache Valley. Some of my patients here have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccines were developed quickly and safely because they cut red tape, not corners. The vaccines are extremely effective and will protect you and your loved ones. More than 1 million Utahns have been vaccinated, and I encourage you to get the vaccine too. Talk to your doctor if you have any questions.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, and where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work, or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
Are bugs crawling all around your home's foundation? We have the right person for you. Sir, you work for Logan Extermination, don't you? Can you help these folks get rid of pesky bugs?
Of course I can help. I am the Terminator. I will terminate those little red devils and nasty spiders around the foundation.
That's right. This month, Logan Extermination can terminate the creepy crawlers around your foundation, starting at only $50. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
When we lost Mom, it was tough. The last thing you want to think about during a time like that are funeral arrangements. We made one call to Allen Hall Mortuary. Allen's helped us with Dad 10 years ago, so we knew we could count on them. The Allen's thoughtful service helped make a difficult time a little easier.
This is Jason Allen with Allen Mortuaries, serving Cache Valley for over 80 years. Then, now, always.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVN News for the People. I'm Jason Williams. If you missed it, I'm sorry, it's over. No, if you missed it, a great recap of last night's direct link with Governor Spencer Cox here on KVNU is available at CacheValleyDaily.com and is also there in the podcast section, in the on-demand section there at KVNUTalk.com. Two things. One, it was a great event last night. I was honored to be able to moderate this, but the questions were mostly caller-driven. I had some prepared in case we didn't get, those back-to-back calls, because you never know. And we did. We got back-to-back calls. So every question thrown out was called in by a caller. And it was a great discussion, ran the gamut of different topics. And we did start things off talking about the drought, of course, with the governor making an announcement yesterday that these conditions here in June are the worst. Well, as far as wildfire conditions go, the state forester and wildfire managers here in Utah are saying things out there look about like they usually do in August when wildfire season starts, but it's the 1st of June. So be careful. That's the message. If you're going out into the mountains, be very careful. And even, here on the valley floor, there are some areas I'm seeing where you might want to think twice about those fireworks as we near the 4th of July holiday and things like that.
Well, in this story that I was reading about the fire, what is it, the East Canyon fire in Morgan County, apparently it's kind of a different sort of fire because it's actually burning through areas that are green.
Yeah,
which you don't think of when you think of wildfires. You think of dried up brush that's brittle and.
Well, so this is where things get really creepy about this situation. So they look green because the way grasses grow, and it hasn't had enough time to completely dry out yet. But when the humidity's so low, when the general conditions have been dry for so long, even green grass exposed to just the smallest amount of heat becomes as flammable as that dry grass. I didn't know that. This is actually something I learned from a U.S. Forest Service video talking about that. So, yeah, it's burning through areas that don't look as dry as the fire would make you think. Have you seen some of the images posted on Twitter today from that East Canyon fire?
I have not.
It's moving fast. The wind's driving it through that canyon. So, yeah, it's just the conditions out there are just not great for this. And as far as the drought goes, some new images today from the Colorado River area, Flaming Gorge, and also some reservoirs in California that are popular houseboat destinations. People park their houseboats there for the summer and enjoy them every weekend, or some people live on them there. Some of those reservoirs so low, they're actually asking people to pull the houseboats out because if it gets any lower, they won't be able to get them out. They'll be there basically until next spring. So it's pretty dire out there. It's not just Utah either. It's every western state, and no reprieve in sight. Bill, I'm assuming you don't have any surprises in the forecast for us.
Slight chance of a rain shower tomorrow.
A big one?
No. Slight chance, and which means
just if anything, a dirty windshield.
Couple drops, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The governor said yesterday in his press conference, and then repeated last night on our program, the drought conditions right now are the worst Utah has seen since 1956, and that's based on how early this is all dried out. So there's a lot of requests out there. We touched on this a bit yesterday on the show, and just an update on this. No new announcement as far as restrictions go. The governor yesterday announced restrictions on state lands and state facilities on water usage, and that goes for everything, every bit of water usage. But they also are asking those of us in northern Utah. They're asking you to keep your lawn waterings to twice a week. In southern Utah, it's a desert down there. So a bit hotter most of the time. So they're asking them to keep it to 3 times a week.
Yeah, twice a week, everything would die.
Yeah,
down there.
This is going to make your lawn a little ugly, but it's going to keep things alive.
You're not going to win the best lawn contest this summer.
Sure,
probably.
And I'm assuming cities better be waiving those. Ogden City is one of the worst for this, from what I've heard. Not personal experience, never lived there, but I've heard so many stories, I believe it. The Ogden City is notorious for the your lawn looks like garbage city warning. if your grass isn't pretty, if there are a few weeds. So hopefully cities are backing off on that kind of thing instead of encouraging people to use water. But some tips as well. Now, I've posted these to our Facebook page if you'd like to go in and read them because there are quite a few. But I'm just going to run over some of the highlights here. Some other things you might want to think of, especially as we near, the 4th of July. It's just a few weeks away. And even if there are restrictions in place, which, believe me, there are going to be restrictions in place. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if statewide everyone decides to go. If they don't by the 4th, this will be the case on the 24th, I predict. Yeah. Where they're basically saying city fireworks shows only. Those are the only fireworks that will be allowed. And I don't know. Sometimes they go with the unincorporated areas are going to be the biggest area of concern. And, of course, campfires in the canyons, things like that are going to be a big concern. Already are. But just steel yourself for these restrictions. So no update on restrictions yet. The governor yesterday restricted state lands and state facilities to very limited watering for groundskeeping and things like that. And has requested that cities and counties follow suit. Some have, some haven't. Syracuse has already imposed restrictions and has already issued fines, $500 fines, for 3 residents in Syracuse already who have just basically said, no, I'm going to water every day. And so that costs them a bit of money. I would expect we'll see some of that even here in northern Utah, unless we're all just responsible about this. But I want to point everyone to this, though. This is an article that actually comes from an interview. This is at CashValleyDaily.com from several years ago. It's an interview we did talking about something called the urban wildfire mix. And what this is basically, another way to put that is we've built houses further and further out and up the hills. And so those areas where a wildfire is likely are more often, not just here in Cache Valley, throughout along the Wasatch Front, Salt Lake Valley, seeing it in Utah County. The homes are in the wildfire area now, many of them. And so this is, increases the need for wildfire fighters, but it also increases the need for being careful and not starting one, although that's always a great idea. What it also requires, though, is some careful home maintenance. And some of this is not something that you can probably run out and do right now. Some of the advice from this interview and the article written from the interview, which, again, is at CashValleyDaily.com. This is from 5 years ago here on the show. We spoke about this urban wildfire mix and how Cache Fire Marshal and even state fire authorities are really struggling with, how to make the likelihood of a wildfire less here in Cache Valley. And there's some things that you can do, and a lot of that involves planting your yard in a certain way. Now, obviously, if the trees are planted, the trees are planted. But it might be something to consider if you are looking at doing some landscaping, if you've just built a new home and that's yet to be done. Check these things out. You can also just Google urban wildfire mix, and you'll find all kinds of articles from around the West with advice on how and where to plant trees, how close or not close they should be to your home, things you can go do now that would decrease the likelihood of an ember from a wildfire turning into a house fire by landing on your roof or in your rain gutter. One quick tip, if you live anywhere near cottonwood trees or a Chinese elm, these are the drop about 1 million seeds every other year, I think it is, trees. Yeah. They're beautiful, and they're amazing, actually. They'll grow anywhere. I've had to pull those things out from between bricks in a chimney before. So it's a fascinating tree, but they dump pounds of seeds every other year. They dump seeds every year, but every other year it's really, really a big one. And that can build up in your rain gutter after baking in the sun for a few weeks.
Yeah,
that
stuff's bad news.
Yeah, that's like very dry toilet paper as far as how easily it would catch fire.
Especially in a year like this year.
Yeah. So clean out those rain gutters. Make sure, as far as debris on your roof goes as well, if you've got a valley where, pine needles collect every year. They're also great tinder when they're dry. And so if there is a wildfire, wildfires produce a lot of embers. That's why the wind is such a bad thing in a wildfire. It just shoots ahead 10, 20 feet at a time. And if you've never seen that, man, there's video on YouTube of a wildfire. They call it sprinting, I think is the word that firefighters will use. But it's instead of just burning through the fuel, which is moving fast enough.
Yeah,
it's called a sprint, where the wind blows an ember 10 feet, 20 feet, sometimes 30 feet ahead of the fire. But the heat from the fire is also going with the wind. The combination of the two, the ember hits the ground and is aflame. Like, it's just instantaneous. And so what it looks like is this fire's hopping 20 feet at a time. And there's just no way for firefighters to keep up with that. It's impossible. And so that's, what happens in a wildfire. So if you have a wildfire come close to your home, the fewer things that can catch fire in your yard and on your roof, the better off you're going to be as firefighters fight that wildfire. So rain gutters, debris on your roof, anywhere that pine needles or dry leaves might collect, pruning trees back away from the roof line is a great idea. Long term, you can look at different landscaping techniques that can actually serve as a wildfire barrier. This is something they do in New Mexico. It's common, but yards are built and designed in a way that they become their own little fire barrier should a wildfire creep up to someone's fence. And we might need to start talking more about things like that here in Utah. 753-5868. Links to all of this on our Facebook page, and we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
Hey, it's Al Lewis. Happy spring. I love this beautiful weather, but if you struggle with CPAP, you may not be getting the sleep you need to go outside and enjoy it. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Learn more at InspireSleep.com. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you. And review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Projects outside go much better after a stop by Stevens Forest Products. Pick up bark, mulch, or compost by the bag for $1 or $2 less at Stevens, or buy it in bulk and save even more. Stevens is also your best source for flagstone, perfect for patios and walkways. Choose from 7 color choices. Pick up a few pieces or take home a pallet. Delivery options are available. Stevens is also home to over 5,000 in-stock railroad ties with prices beginning at $13.99. Stevens Forest Products, between Smithfield and Logan at 3277 North Main.
It's true, many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. We're Edward Jones. Together, we can give your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Contact your local Edward Jones financial advisor to get started today. Call 1-800-ED-JONES. Visit edwardjones.com or stop by any of the 7 Edward Jones offices in Cache Valley.
Utah is in extreme drought. Reservoir levels are low, and wildfire risk is dangerously high. We don't know how long this drought will last, so we all need to do our part to save water. Reduce lawn watering to no more than twice a week for northern Utah and 3 times a week for southern Utah. Your lawn won't look lush and green, but grass is resilient and will bounce back when conditions improve. Prioritize your watering to focus on trees and shrubs. Check with your local water provider for possible restrictions in your area. For more information, visit slowtheflow.org.
Announcing the nationwide release of Witnesses film. Come see, hear, and feel the experiences of Oliver Cowdery, David Whitmer, and Martin Harris. What led them to Joseph Smith and what happened to them after parting ways. Come Follow Me comes alive for your family. See Witnesses, now in theaters. Tickets at witnessesfilm.com.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Coming up later on in the show, we're going to find out how bowling balls are made, or at least specifically how they're made at Storm Bowling in Brigham City. A company getting some international recognition this last month.
Except they don't tell you everything.
No, there are some secrets.
Company secrets there.
Yes, there are some secrets, and but man, it was. So I've got a little. I've had my own little preview of this, what we're going to be discussing. And so I know a bit about, some of the things that are going to come up, the 3D designing, which, by the way, at stormbowling.com, the company's website, you can actually look through some of their 3D designs and rotate it's amazing. And they have bowling balls that are scented. I don't know if that's what got them international attention, but they sent some of the bowling balls. But yeah, they're getting so Storm Bowling. I didn't know this. I didn't know they were here in the first place. I didn't know they'd been operating in Brigham City since I think the 1980s. And I didn't know that they were the top choice or one of the top choices of professional bowlers. But something else I didn't know is how skilled professional bowlers are. Bowling is like golf in a way. If you've ever golfed, it's actually a lot harder than you think. And it actually, one of my biggest complaints about golf, I never do it because I find it, unpopular opinion, I find it to be a boring activity. Too much pausing in between doing stuff. Same reason I can't watch a televised NFL game. My brain wanders off.
Not only did my mom like to play golf, and I would play golf with her, and my dad wasn't really crazy about it. My mom really liked golf, and she'd even watch golf on television.
Really?
Which to me is
that's the only thing worse than playing golf.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of taking a nice afternoon nap. Watching golf on TV. But she would sit there and watch it. And
the actual play is fascinating to me because I love physics. I was never good at math, so I never pursued it in my education. But physics was always my favorite science because it's so simple, yet so fascinating and complex at the same time, or the result is at least. But what a golfer has to do to hit a ball a really long ways, or a good golfer, is actually some amazing physics, even if the golfer doesn't know that's what they're doing. And I have a friend, for example, who is one of the scrawniest guys you've ever seen as far as upper body goes, just sticks. And yet he can turn himself into a corkscrew and swing those long arms in a way. He's won some longest shot awards several different times in some of the leagues. Anyway,
yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, the physics of it is amazing, but it's not fun to actually do because you do that for like 30 seconds, and then you get in a golf cart and you drive to the next location, and then you sit there and wait for 10, 15 minutes. And that's just my brain. I check out by the fourth hole. I'm ready to go do something else. So bowling, I'd always kind of thought the same thing of. It looks simple when you see it done. It's just, how hard could that be? That's not a sport. I've heard that about golf. I've heard that about bowling. It's not a sport. Well, I beg to differ. To be good at golf, despite my criticism of how many pauses there are between actually playing golf and sitting on something, you have to be an athlete to be good at it. Well, the same is true with bowling. And our guest coming up in hour 2 today, Chayton Peterson is his name, from Storm Bowling in Brigham City. He's actually supplied some examples of the art that is being a good bowler, the physics involved with not only designing a bowling ball, because these have to leave the factory without imperfection.
Yeah.
And any imperfection, and this thing's useless.
Yeah, you don't want to throw somebody's game off.
That's in fact, I learned this. Even the commercial bowling alleys, where just kids come and play on the weekends, they won't even take them if there's an imperfection. And so,
factory seconds are not good.
Yeah, when it comes to bowling balls. So it's an amazing art in the production, but also Chayton provided us some information on how much art there is to being a skilled bowler. And I tell you, it will open your eyes. So that's coming up in hour 2 of today's show. On the other side of the news, the Logan Family Center, we spoke with them just last month, I believe it was, on our show over some events they had planned. And then there was a bit of a surprise in the news. The Logan Family Center announced that after 25 years of service here in Cache Valley, doing some very important work for families and kids, the Logan Family Center announced that they were hanging up the hat. So on the other side, our own Bill Walter, he had a chance to speak with the executive director, talk about what this is all about and what comes next for some of the folks involved in some of the programs the Family Center offered here in Cache Valley. That's all in the other side of these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:34. Several wildfires are burning in Utah amid hot, dry conditions and with most of the state mired in extreme drought. The largest blaze is one that started Tuesday in central Utah near Price. That was about 5.4 square miles as of this morning. A fire in northern Utah near East Canyon State Park had grown to about 1.3 square miles and forced the evacuation of 2 families. It was started Tuesday morning when a track hoe hit a rock. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said yesterday this is the state's worst drought in decades. Firefighters have gained a toehold on a massive wildfire in Arizona, one of several burning across the southwest in states facing dry heat and drought conditions. Fire officials said today the so-called Telegraph Fire, burning south of Superior, about 60 miles east of Phoenix, went overnight from no containment to 21% contained. Residents of smaller communities have been in various stages of the evacuation process. Smoke from some of the fires has led to residents in New Mexico, which is battling its own fires, to wake up shrouded in smoke. And as we mentioned, multiple wildfires also burning here in Utah. And a woman charged with conspiring with her new husband to kill her 2 children has been committed to a mental health facility for treatment, and her husband has pleaded not guilty to the crimes. Chad Daybell entered the plea this morning in an eastern Idaho courtroom less than 24 hours after 7th District Judge Stephen Boyce signed the mental commitment order for Lori Vallow Daybell. The couple is at the center of a grim saga involving bizarre beliefs and a months-long search for 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan. The children's bodies were eventually found buried in Chad Daybell's yard. KVNU News Time is 4:37.
This is Phil with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We love being in Cache Valley and want to thank you for your support. Cache Valley Pharmacy features the best prices in the valley, and as always, free delivery. If you're in the market for prescriptions, check first with Cache Valley Pharmacy for the absolute best prices, especially on compounds and insulin. We've been doing pharmacy better than anyone else in the valley with free delivery valley-wide for the last 19 years. Cache Valley Pharmacy, the pharmacy delivery experts. Order your prescriptions online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
KVNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low in the low 50s, south winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Windy conditions tomorrow again, sunny in the morning, partly cloudy by afternoon, and a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, just about a 20% chance tomorrow. Much cooler, high around 70. Southwest winds 10 to 20, increasing to 15 to 25 miles per hour in the afternoon. Quite cool overnight. Thursday night, mid-30s is what they're forecasting for early Friday morning. Sunny upper 70s for the high temperature on Friday. It's been to 85. It's 80 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by the Lawn Doctor. Win the weed battle in your lawn. Call the Lawn Doctor and keep dandelions, thistle, clover, and morning glory at bay. LawnDoctorCacheValley.com or call 753-LAWN. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Amanda Boydston bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of financial advisor Clayton McMurdy and Edward Jones for Wednesday, June 9th. Equity markets finished slightly lower but remained near record levels, while bond yields declined. The 10-year Treasury yield fell below 1.50%, the lowest level in nearly 3 months, as the Fed's dovish stance is claiming investors' nerves about inflation for now. International markets were mostly lower after European stocks hit a new high yesterday. Lower bond yields helped bond proxies like utilities and real estate outperformed. Oil declined modestly, partly reversing yesterday's gains when it settled above $70 a barrel for the first time since late 2018. The Dow closed down 153 points at 34,447. The NASDAQ closed down 13 points at 13,912, and S&P 500 closed down 8 points at $4,220. In commodity market, the price of oil was down $30 at $69.75, and the price of gold was down $3 at $1,891.30. In stocks of local interest, Apple was up 39 cents at $127.13. Autoliv was down $1.64 at $103.85. Campbell's was down $3.20 at $45.92. General Electric was down 17 cents at $13.73. Home Depot was down $3.56 at $307.34. Lowe's was down 80 cents at $190.60. Nucor was down $2.41 at $107.58. Procter & Gamble was down 5 cents at $134.79. R.R. Donnelley was down 5 cents at $6.54. Thermo Fisher was up $7.21 at $448.21. Wells Fargo was down 69 cents at $45.92. Walmart was down 75 cents at $139.08. And Zion's was down $1.18 at $56.62. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and Clayton McMurdy, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1309 North Main. If you'd like additional information, please contact us at 435-753-0537.
Metal Mart is everyone's metal store. So come on in and see what you can do at Metal Mart. If you are welding, building, fixing, or repairing, Metal Mart is your metal source. With one of the biggest selections of metal products, including aluminum and stainless steel, you'll be amazed at the selection of items available to you. Now, when it comes to buying metal, Metal Mart understands that not everyone knows what they need when it comes to metal products. We understand that not everyone works with metal every day, so let us help. Come on into Metal Mart at our Lehigh or Logan stores and let our awesome sales force take care of you. Projects big or small, we can serve them all. For 27 years, Metal Mart has provided excellent service to all customers. So, no matter your knowledge or skill level, when you need metal, come to everyone's metal store. Metal Mart, serving all of Utah and the surrounding states. Metal Mart is ready to serve. Call today in Lehigh at 801-768-3332 or Logan at 435-363-9001. Visit online at metalmart.biz. Open to all. Metal Mart is ready to help you. See you soon.
Adams Wealth Advisors have helped thousands of people create financial peace of mind. Understanding your family, job, hobbies, and goals is how Adams Wealth Advisors earn the long-term trust of the individuals they proudly serve.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we're here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com to schedule a time with an advisor today.
Buck Sexton. Consensus is not science. Everyone who actually thinks through this themselves and doesn't just allow their brains to be molded by being stuck at home, being on the social media all the time. The panic porn on cable news channels in general was mind-blowing.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, inspired by Rush. Debuting June 21st.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, the voice of Northern Utah.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Before we get to our next guest, I just want to say that I call these wrong sometimes, Bill. But and anyone out there who didn't watch, man, did we all miss a Jazz game last night? It
was exciting. It was I wasn't there, but I was following it. I was doing some working on a couple of news stories here, and had it on in the studio.
I just think there seemed to be two things going on last night. One, a surprise good game, because this didn't start good. I saw a few tweets early on, and I just tuned out. We were just talking about it. I saw something. The governor actually retweeted this on his personal Twitter account, something about 21 missed shots. I read that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out. How things have gone. And then I guess something changed, and but I think something else was going on too, because last night was also the first. Now this isn't packed the way this set no records as far as attendance goes, but last night was one of the first big crowd arena jazz games.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, it looked like a lot of people were there.
Yeah, and I talked to some folks who hadn't had that experience in more than a year now. And including Mitch Henline of former Full Court Press fame.
That guy is everywhere.
He is.
He's just...
He said, as he left the game, he put this on social media. He said, I'm shaking. He said, I mean, not only was it a great game, but he said just that to have not had that experience, something he really enjoys as a sports fan, to have not had that experience for so long, and then to go to a game, have the crowd on its feet that many times. It was loud in there. I've seen some clips. And because, again, it wasn't looking great for the Jazz for a while. And then just tables turned. And so he said the crowd, the cheering, the foot stomping, just the noise of a nearly full arena, it's just something that many of us haven't seen or done in so long. And so I think the combination of the two, I've heard more than one Jazz fan describe it as an emotional experience last night at the game.
Well, it was a game the Jazz really could not lose. A home game. I mean, they lost the home opener, the first game to Memphis, but that's Memphis Grizzlies. Clippers are a little more formidable. They need all the home wins.
Yeah,
for this series.
And so, an important win, and as I understand, a great game. Some of the clips back that up, but I think, again, there was that other element that I think I think a lot of Jazz fans, for the first time last night, finally felt like they were back. The arena was pretty full.
You had that old Stockton to Malone feeling, and Karl Malone was there.
That's right.
They showed him on the tube.
Just... I always miss the exciting ones, and then I'll watch the next one that's a sleeper because this one happened. But I saw some early coverage on social media, and I thought I'm not going to bother. And then it was.
Well, I was here anyway because
great game.
I had to finish my stories, and
you had to witness it then.
Yeah.
So but kind of exciting and nice to hear this reaction from Jazz fans. That again, those who were there at the arena saying this was a very emotional experience for the entire crowd. So kind of cool. COVID-19 still here. In fact, sadly, numbers crept up in Utah in the last 7 days. So we'll get a report from the governor's task force tomorrow. But it's a lot of signs of normal out there, including a pretty packed arena last night and an excited crowd as the Jazz turned things around in that game and pulled it off. So, all right. Shifting gears here, just about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we spoke with some of our friends at the Logan Family Center about an event they had coming up. And then we were surprised about a week later to learn they had announced that after 25 years of service for families and children here in Utah, the Logan Family Center was hanging up their hat. Our own Bill Walter had a chance to reach out to Executive Director of the Logan Family Center, Coral Larson, to find out what this decision is all about, why it's happening. And Bill, take it away.
Thank you, Jason. And on the phone, we have Coral Larson, the Executive Director of the Logan Family Center. This center is unfortunately saying goodbye after a quarter of a century of service to the community. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today, Coral. Nice to have you with us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for letting me come and share about the center.
Now, the Logan Family Center, what are the origins of the center?
Well, about 25 years ago, there were a group of community members that really felt like that some free educational resources needed to be provided for parents and families. And so they just started out with, a few educational resources, books and toys and games and such. And then it's grown to be a full library full of resources and free programs that to help families like free preschool, free parenting classes, and free summer programs. So many families can't afford to put their children in some of these things, and so it was something that we felt was they felt would be a great thing to offer to the community and the families of the community.
All right, and it mentions here that did it kind of grow out as far as the library use of a library at the Wilson Elementary School?
Well, I know that the stories I've heard, I've only been here since 2014. I heard at one time the library was in a room above a bank in downtown Logan. When I came here in 2014, they were in a portable on the playground of Wilson Elementary School. And then a few years ago, we were moved to a house that's right next door to that playground that's owned by the Logan City School District, and they gutted it out and remodeled it and let us move in there.
Oh, okay, and that's where you've been ever since?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So now it looks like you're going to have a kind of a 25th anniversary celebration, but kind of bittersweet because it's also going to be kind of a farewell party, farewell recognition at the end of July.
Yes, on July 30th from 10 to 4 on the Wilson Elementary School grounds, we're going to be inviting organizations to come and bring activities for families and share information about what they do to serve the community. And we have invited food trucks, and we're still working on the details, entertainment. And then we definitely want to recognize all the many partners that have made it possible for us to get grants to provide the free programs to the community. So we're going to be recognizing those groups of people and businesses, and also we want to recognize some of our past directors and volunteers that have helped us out over the years too.
All right. So that's coming up July 30th again there at your current location on the grounds of Wilson Elementary. Looking back at your time that you've been with the Logan Family Center, what are some of your fond memories? What do you think maybe are some of the great accomplishments of the center?
I think some of our great accomplishments are always trying to do things better the following year. We've had our free summer programs are really well attended, and started out doing a round the world in 80 days where families could come and learn about different cultures. And then we started adding camps to those, like space camp and art camp and things like that. So we are going to be doing one final. We just started. Actually, yesterday was our first day of our final summer camps, and they're going to be lasting 8 weeks, so they'll end on the 29th of July. And each week is a different theme, and we just going to have fun saying goodbye to the community and do our best to have a really great summer program.
And now, looking at the at this press release that came out a couple of months ago, it says here you're going to continue, even though you have your celebration and goodbye July 30th. It says you're going to have free parenting classes that will continue monthly up until October, it looks like.
Yes. We told the Logan City School District that we'll be out by the end of the year, and we still have some parenting resources available, so we want to still offer those as long as we can.
All right, and people interested can get more information at loganfamilycenter.org, your website there. Well, Coral, thank you again. Thanks for spending a few minutes and telling us a little bit about your history there at the Logan Family Center, and just highlighting what a difference it's made over 25 years of service in our community.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
And now back to Jason.
Thank you, Bill. It's sad. There are a lot of these changes happening, but change happens. But we're going to miss both the work of the family place and the
Logan Family Center. Yes,
I did it. I did the same thing when we had them on the show.
Yeah, they have family in the
two
title.
Different ones,
yeah.
But we're going to miss the work of the Logan Family Center. They did some important stuff here. Hopefully, those services and programs will be absorbed by others and continue here. And also, Coral is a great person, so going to miss an opportunity to speak with her. Also, some changes coming to the Cash Employment Training Center. We'll be speaking with Kaylin Beecher about that possibly tomorrow, most likely the first of next week, with an announcement of her retirement, but also some big announcements for the center itself as they approach their 60th anniversary. So, yeah, a lot of changes here in Cache Valley. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. We think it's time for a little fun. This year we want to celebrate Father's Day with a special contest just for the dads. Bring in your ugliest tie to Daryl's for the chance to win a DJI Mini 2 drone. Stop in, leave that ugly tie, and you might win. Ties will be accepted from June 1st to June 12th. Voting on the ugliest tie will begin online June 13th to 19th. We'll announce the winner on Father's Day, June 20th. Happy Father's Day and good luck. Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard, aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
Total joint surgeon Matt Olson at Intermountain Logan Regional Orthopedics is the only fellowship-trained total joint specialist in the Valley. At Logan Regional Orthopedics, we teach you everything you need to know to prepare for your surgery and then guide you as you get back to doing the things you love. For more information or to schedule a consultation with Dr. Olson, go to loganregional.org/totaljoint or call 435-716-2800.
They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, particularly when she's thinking of marriage. When it comes to this important decision, visit S.E. Needham Jewelers in historic downtown Logan. We have been the part of thousands of happy engagements. You'll enjoy our vast selection of beautiful and unique engagement rings. You'll also enjoy our relaxed and elegant environment. You'll not be hurried and you'll feel no pressure as you have fun looking for the perfect ring. Where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. President Biden wants to rally foreign allies against the rise in autocracy as he begins an 8-day overseas trip. We'll have the latest. Also, employers are still desperate to hire and continue rolling out perks. Hear the company that will pay for college for you and a family member. And scoring deals on furniture with supplies tight. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Coming up in hour 2, how bowling balls are made and where they're made at. Here in northern Utah, we'll speak with representatives of Storm Bowling receiving some international recognition for a bowling ball design they can't tell us every detail of. And it's all happening right here in Brigham City. Also, yes, before you even ask, they do tours. But you're going to have to stay tuned to find out how you can sign up for one. Again, no corporate secrets are going to be revealed, but representatives of Storm Bowling, our friend Chaitan Peterson of Storm Bowling in Brigham City is going to join us to talk about why they're getting this international recognition, but also how complex not only the making and designing of bowling balls happens to be, but also the art of being a good bowler and what Storm Bowling is doing to try and build the sport up. That's coming up in hour 2 of today's show. We'll also be talking about Lake Mead at a low not seen since 1930. Being one of the destinations, if you will, of the Colorado River, something that feeds all of us here in the 7-basin state area. Utah lawmakers getting serious about this. In fact, a meeting happening right now on potential policy and discussion of long-term drought solutions in Utah and the American West. We'll talk about what they're throwing out and what might happen in hour 2 of today's show after this here on KVNU Logan.